Good morning. The Lord Provost of Glasgow, Eva Bolander, is to resign following a row over her expenses. Ms Bolander faced criticism after claiming £8,000 to pay for items of clothing, including 23 pairs of shoes. At a meeting of SNP councillors yesterday, she said she'd made an error of judgment, although the spending was within the rules. The headlines on Reporting Scotland this Thursday lunchtime. A row over expenses prompts Glasgow's Lord Provost to step down. Good afternoon. In the last few minutes, Eva Bolander, the Lord Provost of Glasgow, has resigned from the post to a standing ovation from colleagues. It follows the revelation that the SNP councillor spent thousands of pounds of taxpayers' money on clothes and beauty products, including claiming for 23 pairs of shoes, manicures and hair appointments. Our local government correspondent Jamie McIver has more.
Now, this affair was never about illegality or impropriety. Rather, it was about whether the spending was wise or appropriate and about how it may have been seen by the public, especially as councils all across Scotland have been facing years of tough budget choices. Now, to remind you of the items which Eva Bolander had claimed for, they included 23 pairs of shoes as well as glasses and underwear. It was all from money from an allowance which is designed to support the functions of the Lord Provost, so it was all above board. Now, Eva Bolander had already apologised, accepting that there were items which on reflection she shouldn't have claimed for, and she said she would pay some of the money back. So news of her resignation certainly came as something of a surprise when it emerged after yesterday's SNP group meeting. And certainly there will be SNP councillors hoping this will now finally draw a line under the affair.
The Lord Provost of Glasgow has resigned after a row about her expenses. Eva Bolander had claimed for £8,000 spent on clothes, hair and makeup. In a highly unusual move, she announced her resignation to councillors at the start of their meeting, then left to applause. Here's our local government correspondent, Jamie McIver.
It may have been the traditional start to a council meeting, but what came next was anything but. A resignation statement from the Lord Provost, the first citizen, a figure normally above political controversy, whose spending had caused a row.
My spending incurred was within the rules and guidance. However, on reflection, there are items that I should have chosen to not reclaim. And for that, I apologise unreservedly. Thank you.
The resignation followed a meeting of SNP councillors yesterday. Most believed it was right she should leave the post.
What's just happened behind these doors in the council chambers is unprecedented. No Lord Provost in Glasgow has ever resigned in such circumstances before, and SNP councillors will be hoping this draws a line under the whole affair.
The Lord Provost spent £8,000 on clothes and related items. The spending included 23 pairs of shoes. But Glasgow, like other councils, has faced many tough decisions. Outside the meeting, one union was highlighting cuts, while the councillor who obtained details of the expenses welcomed the resignation.
The longer she was staying in office, the more credibility that was being drained away. So she's eventually decided to go, but there's still a lot of questions to be asked.
Eva Bolander didn't break any rules, but her spending cost her a privileged position. Jamie McIver, Reporting Scotland, Glasgow.